What's going on, everyone? So, do you remember when Netflix released the three-part series of Fear Street? I do, and I actually really enjoyed that series. Right? It's like three different parts. It was more like a movie, like three different movies. But nonetheless, right? You had 1994 was part one, 1978 was part two, and then 1666 was part three. Really good, really well done. Had some success for Netflix. And then there was a lot of talk about like, hey, they're gonna do another series. They're gonna have a couple more done. And this was back in 2021. We are now officially in 2025. And up until now, we got nothing. But now it looks like according to RL Stine, the man himself, they're working with Netflix to release another Fear Street. They kind of follow the same route of like the 1, 2, 3? That I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Look, as far as like, well, what are they gonna do story wise, right? Because like, you had part 1, 2, and 3 was one kind of conclusive story, but they all kind of, you could have, outside of like the very like cliffhanger ending, like you could have had them all kind of be its own thing in a lot of ways. I saw people when this first came out, like a lot of people really wanted like an anthology version where like each part or whatever is like its own thing, which you could absolutely do. There is a ton of source material, I mean, there's like a couple hundred Fear Street books, something like that. Might even be more than that. And with that, you just can throw a dart at one and have a new film, right? Or a new series. So that in and of itself really gives them some luxury, right? And these are kind of more darker, more gritty stories. Like Goosebumps was the, hey, here's the kid stuff. Fear Street was supposed to be more for like the adults. And when you have literally, hundreds of these that have been made, it really could open up different adaptations and stuff like that. There's been other like little things, little other adaptations, like television series and stuff like that. But you have an opportunity here to really kind of, you keep seeing Goosebumps getting pushed, right? It's like every year there's like a new Goosebumps movie or a new Goosebumps series or something like that show that comes on. And it's like, it makes sense that you would want to do kind of the Fear Street route as well. Do you kind of have like the adult version? Because, if you watch those Fear Street ones, those definitely weren't for kids, right? Like those were adult versions. But some people, see RL Stine and are like, oh, well, how scary can it be? How bad can it be? And I liked it. It felt very, it's very campy. It was very campy, very, kind of slasher horror type thing with the supernatural twists and stuff. Like I do. I liked the idea. I liked what they were creating there with it. I think that there's real opportunity for continued growth. I like that you have all these different variations and adaptations, and we can kind of play the guessing game on like, should you do this? Because there was like my concern is, did they already lose the hype? Right? Like genuinely. Because after those, part 1, 2, and 3 came out, there was a lot of like excitement. Because look, I had the channel back then, so like even here we were talking about it in live streams and making videos on it and stuff about like, oh man, what'd you guys think of this or that, and then and kind of breaking it down, and then it was like, they're gonna do more. They got to do more. Look at all the books that there are. Look at all the the series that you could create and all the potential that this franchise has. And like every year you could release a new one. Do it for 100 years, like whatever you want to do. And like, how cool would that be? Kind of like Netflix now has this kind of free, infinite movie glitch. There we go. I was gonna say infinite money glitch, but infinite movie glitch. You might have that with these Fear Streets. Obviously, you need to make sure it's a good film, a good story, something that's good that you can, adapt to, the screen and stuff. You don't want to just do it to do it, because you could also have it lose its luster very quickly, and then that's it. But I just felt like you had you had kind of the lightning in the bottle, and now you want to recapture it, and you waited 4 years to do this again. Where I'm not saying it had to come out like in 2022, but again, you had 4 years. Why not kind of keep the hype train going? Why not kind of keep things moving here a little bit, right? Like, rather than like, oh, hey, yeah, we released this 3-part series, everyone loved it, it did really well, and it was like dirt cheap for them to make. I don't remember quite off the top of my head, but it was something like $50,000 or something like that for them to like make the Fear Street movies, and that's why they wanted to do so many, right? It was like insanely cheap, like almost made up cheap, to do the Fear Street movie. So it was like, oh man, this is like a perfect storm. They had a ton of success. They were super cheap for them to create and make, and it was like, you have this endless supply of books and film or things that you can adapt in a film. It's like, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you release several of these? And they didn't do it. Right? Well, now they are, but it's just like, why did it take so long? My concern is, I worry that, again, like, it lost its excitement. You had the opportunity here. You had the chance to, kind of continue where you left off maybe a year and a half later. Right? Because like I said, it came out in 2021. You could have kind of let those marinate, give it a month or two, and then announce, oh, Near Fear Street coming out, and everyone would be like, oh my goodness, we're all so excited, yay. And then, but now it's like, okay, hey, you guys remember when they made those Fear, it's like, do you guys remember when they released that 3-part series? Like, it's just, again, it's like Netflix has this habit though, period. Right? Like, even like Stranger Things and things like that. It's just like, why does it take so long for you to like pump these things out? And I understand, there was like a writer strike or whatever, but it happened like 2 years after it released. Like, you had the opportunity and you didn't do it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Disagree with my points? You think like, yeah, it is. It's very disappointing that this is something that ended up happening. They should have released this a lot sooner. Do you think like, no, like they did it right. Stay the course. Release the films when you think it's best and appropriate to release them. Whatever. Like, look, we're all gonna watch them anyway. And like, my argument for anything that goes to Netflix all the time is that like everyone has a Netflix account, so it still works out, right? Like, that's the beauty of Netflix, is that it's the convenience, right? Like, even with Stranger Things, it's like, it's been so long, they lost their, that lightning in the bottle again. It's like, well, that sucks, but at the end of the day, it's like, everyone's gonna go watch it anyway, right? It's not something where it's like, you have to be aware. Like, eventually you're gonna go to Netflix, right? And when you do, guess what? You're gonna watch it. Not everyone eventually goes to a movie theater, right? Like, eventually you're gonna sit home and turn on Netflix. Oh yeah, hey, new Fear Street series, right? Even if it came out a month ago, right? It's like, oh, here you go. So, but that's essentially the advantage that Netflix has, compared to like some of these other, platforms, or like a movie theater or series, like when they take for so long to release something. But it's just, I'm excited because I hope that we get back into the swing of things. And I'd like kind of more anthology horror and stuff like that, right? Like, you think of things that like Netflix has done in the past, like even like the slasher and stuff like that was like really cool. And then, what was that, like Midnight Society or whatever? Like, that was really cool, right? Like, they've had some like really good kind of horror series and anthology films that I really would like to see. And I think you could just kind of do that, translate that with this Fear Street, and just really kind of put yourself in a position to just give out quality, just horror series year after year after year after year after year. And just that cycle, which I am all for it. Never take too much horror, that's for sure. But again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.